Welcome back. The SADC Double Troika Extraordinary Summit scheduled for Gaborone, Botswana, has decided to suspend all activities in Lesotho. This is after Lesotho insisted that it did not want the report of the Commission of Inquiry that investigated the death of former Lesotho Army Commander Maaparankoe Mahao to be released until a case challenging the commission is decided by the courts. Well, to speak to us a little bit more about this is our Lesotho reporter Nthakoana Ngatane. She joins us now in the studio. Thank you so much for availing yourself and joining us this morning. Thank you, Ayanda. Good morning. Am I the only one who thinks that this is actually startling that SADC has decided to take such a harsh stand against Lesotho? Because I discussed it with some of my colleagues and it didn't seem very pertinent to them. It raised my eyebrows at least. Well, not really. In fact, there has been quite what I call an about turn, I think in my terms, because Prime Minister Mosisili met with President Khama yesterday, one-on-one, before he left Botswana, and apparently after that meeting then decided to take that report. So whether that has changed things in terms of the stance that SADC, or at least the Troika, wants to take, because remember, the double Troika is 6 countries out of the 15 member states of SADC, and they had said they wanted to recommend that Lesotho be suspended, and that can only be done by the summit that happens in August. But in the meantime, they wanted to suspend activities, and that would include, of course, the facilitation by Deputy President Ramaphosa, which is quite crucial for Lesotho. So yes, it was very startling, I think, when we heard it, and it was said by President Zuma. It was also said by Mozambique President Filipe Nyusi, who is the chairperson of the Organ for Defense, Politics and Security. Where do things stand at the moment? I believe that report was supposed to have been released yesterday. I'm not sure where are things standing at the moment there. According to the communique, the report has been handed over to Lesotho. We saw pictures on social media because we left Botswana before the meeting between President Khama and Prime Minister Mosisili was done. But we saw pictures on social media showing President Khama handing the report over to Prime Minister Mosisili. And so today we will be following up that story to talk about what that means now. According to the communique, Lesotho has been given until the 1st of February, 2 weeks from, of course, when the Troika met, to actually publish that report and make it public so that everyone knows what it says. So again, that's another period of waiting to find out what Lesotho will do different. And if it doesn't do that, or if the country doesn't do that by the 1st of February, then I guess what President Zuma and what President Nyusi said will then kick in. In the meantime, there is this legal challenge, the court case that's happening in the sidelines. Tell us how it relates to this matter. What happened is that there's a Lieutenant Colonel Hashazi who appeared before the commission, and when he appeared the first time, the chairperson of the commission, Judge Mpapi Pumapi, had said to him if he wouldn't confirm whether he was present or not when Mahao was shot, he would consider him a suspect. And he said that was verbally haranguing him when he went to court. Now, when the Commission went into South Africa to hear evidence from exiled soldiers who had fled the country because they feared for their lives. They'd been arrested, and they claimed when they presented their evidence in front of the commission that Lieutenant Colonel Hashazi was leading those investigations that ended up with them being tortured. And so the commission went back to Lesotho to hear more evidence and wanted to recall him to the commission to testify. And then he went to the court and said he didn't want to appear before the commission again. That was granted, but his overall application was that all of the commission findings should be quashed. Now, this is the legal challenge that's happening at the moment in Lesotho. It was supposed to sit in the High Court on Monday, and now SADC has then said that Lesotho, because of Article 31 that says SADC institutions, or Article 31 of the Treaty of SADC that says SADC institutions have immunities and privileges, Lesotho should not allow that court case to continue. So that's another thing that we're looking at now to hear what Lesotho does now that they have taken that report. And what is the social political climate like in Lesotho at the moment? Do ordinary citizens care what's happening? Are they aware? Are they bothered by it at all? So that's the one angle, the society. But the other angle as well is the political climate there also one of concern? Well, yes.
Yes, indeed. The political climate at this point in time is of concern to Basotho. Even though people go on with their normal lives, business continues in Lesotho because people have somewhat become indifferent to what happens politically, and they feel that they do not want to be caught up in what is going on with the leadership in the country, or at least they don't want their usual business because that affects their ordinary lives. They don't want that to be affected. So a lot of people go on as if nothing is going on. But particularly with this case, people are now saying, well, why is the government not filing replying affidavits in the court to show that it contests what Lieutenant Colonel Hashatsi is saying, for instance? Is the government therefore silently condoning what he is saying in the court? So these are just some of the things, a lot of rumblings under the surface where people are going on as if nothing is wrong.
And I'd imagine very, very uncertain the climate at the moment. A lot of question marks hanging, especially after our president, Jacob Zuma, made his statements as well regarding Lesotho and the court case as well. So which dates must we be looking out for? Perhaps not even dates, the next occurrences. Should we be just putting a flag and say that's when we will know A, B, and C? You've spoken about the 1st of February. What else should we be looking out for?
Well, the 1st of February, I think, is the key one, because then it determines whether or not SADC, or at least the Troika or the double Troika, will continue with trying to convince other countries to suspend Lesotho by September, by August. And also because SADC is so crucial to Lesotho, as I've said, with the facilitation by Deputy President Ramaphosa, but also recently, and I make this example because Lesotho has said that it is misunderstood and it has not been represented well in the media, on social media. And when the ministers of communication met in Lesotho recently, they said a lot of what is said in the media about Lesotho is wrong, because what they saw on the ground is that Lesotho is not as unstable. Now, SADC saying that means that because the ministers were meeting to actually say, well, communication from governments should be more robust, particularly from the government of Lesotho, which seems to be very anti going out and communicating. For instance, with this particular SADC Troika or double Troika that happened in Botswana, as I say, President Zuma said something after the meeting, President Nyusi said something after the meeting, but Prime Minister Mosisili did not even want to say anything. So that in itself
speaks volumes.
Yes, says Lesotho does not want to communicate as much, and that works against them, if you like. So a lot of what is happening or what is not happening in the country also depends on what they do and don't say.
Of course, and that country also facing the drought that the rest of Southern Africa going through, the coup attempt that they recently had, they need, I think, all the support that they can get. We'll leave it there, at least for now. We'll continue to check in with you a little bit later. The 1st of February is D-Day. All eyes will be on Lesotho, wanting to see what will happen there. Let's leave it there, at least for now. More in just a moment.